What's going on, guys? It's your boy FaceTime, and we're just jumping right into it tonight. I got my friends Hyper Combo Comics and Comic Dude joining me tonight. Uh, Mr. Key Issues is a little under the weather. I may have heard it's a hangover. I don't know, but some people are lightweights. What can we say?
I'm surprised. Said
I
absolutely
know he's
nobody.
so big.
No,
um,
I said I'm not surprised it's a hangover.
oh, right. Not surprised it's a hangover. Surprised he got one though.
Just a couple
Mhm.
drinks, eh?
And BC actually has some health issues going on. Also, it's probably a hangover, but he's blaming it on something completely else.
Well, I mean, he did attend a wedding, so apparently he's
You see
blaming
what I'm
that.
saying?
Let's be real, it's the hangover as well.
Right? It does seem really suspicious.
Most likely.
So, but that being said, obviously I'm here with two good guys, and we have another guest that may be joining us later, as we're going to be talking about some horror comics. But before we get into that, there's been some, I guess, some something going on in the community. Hyper, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and take it away, and you can explain a little bit about what's going on and everything like that for us, because I'm catching up on all this too.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I just felt like this might be a topic we might want to kind of gloss over, just because, one of our affiliated channels is actually nominated for it. And I'm actually talking about the whole comic book community awards. Now, I know, it's been a bit of a hot button issue because, for those of you that don't know, some dude on Instagram basically created a page on IG, and actually, sorry, a website actually. I believe it's called cbcawards.org, something like that.
Okay.
And he created an IG page where he listed several categories with the nominees.
Mm-hmm.
The controversy comes with the fact that, obviously, because it's only a select few that got nominated for each category, a lot of channels got snubbed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and actually, there has been also some questionable choices of some of the nominees that did make it through to some of these categories.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've heard several channels
if we made it through, it's definitely questionable choices.
But I mean, I figured, look, a couple of the channels that we follow kind of address the issue, and so I figured, it is a bit of a current topic, so maybe we could just kind of address it and just say our piece on it, since we are kind of technically one of the channels nominated. So here's my take on it.
Well, before we get into that, actually,
Yeah.
I do have a question in regards to this.
Mhm.
The person or people that are running this, are they so the awards are generally, I guess, or primarily for YouTube content creators?
Well, he actually called it what is it called?
The comic book community.
Content creators. He actually included
Oh, yeah.
IG and YouTube, actually, not just YouTube. So it actually
Okay.
opens up it opens up the net a bit wider.
Well, then, okay, I guess my second question would be: is this person or people, are they content creators themselves?
Comic Dude, you kind of know more something about that aspect.
Yeah, I looked into it a bit more. So yeah, they actually have a Instagram page, and they do have a YouTube channel. They're called Local Comic Shop. So check them out, I guess. But I don't know too much about them. So yeah, I just know they do have pages. So
just to give you an idea, the page itself that actually set up the awards has only about 200 followers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the post itself, like when they were supposed to vote, had like 17 or 18 likes. So it's not like there wasn't exactly a groundswell in terms of community awareness. Like, look, when and the channel that we're talking about that got nominated as affiliated is Newbie Comics, which was nominated for best speculation content.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah,
the thing is, but this is exactly my point. a lot of the people that I spoke to that made it through to the nomination didn't even know about this award in the first place. So, like myself included. So my question is,
Hmm.
how is it done? Now, okay, so
I
that's
didn't really know about it either. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's been the main point that I've been hearing from a lot of channels. But here's the thing that I find is a bit of a double standard, because I know that, with the facts and figures I just gave you, we honestly shouldn't take this award thing too seriously.
No.
But the amount of venom and hate that this dude, whoever he is, he kind of got because channel got snubbed and all that, I kind of felt like it's almost like you're saying it's like a nothing award show, but at the same time, you're passionate. You're having these passionate opinions as if you really do care about being nominated. So it's
Just
almost like
reciprocating that same kind of hatred for it amongst each other.
it. I mean, yeah, like I'll be honest, like there was a couple of head scratchers when I looked at the nominees, but I honestly I kind of forgot about it like the next day. I didn't really dwell on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, some people really took it personally. And I'm not talking about the channels themselves that were snubbed. I'm talking about people that went to bat for these channels. So I'm not actually singling out the channels. It's certain people, I guess, that are avid followers of the channels. I guess they felt
Okay.
they kind of had to, raise their pitchforks for these people. I just find that if you truly felt like, this award whole scheme was, insignificant,
Why
you're
make
giving
a
it
big deal out of it? Mhm.
exactly.
Well,
So
so okay. So the thing is, like, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't. I know about the awards thing. I saw the nominations when they came out,
mhm.
and I it's awesome that you know newbie, and obviously I guess with being affiliated with them, uh, that we got nominated for anything. That's obviously appreciated.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, I don't know too much more about it. Yeah, like it just yeah, it seems like it popped up out of nowhere.
Mhm.
I didn't hear much as far as the voting or anything.
No,
I'm
neither
not.
did I.
I don't necessarily. If we hadn't got nominated for anything, I don't think that I really would have lost any sleep over it.
Yeah.
If we had gotten nominated for everything, I really wouldn't get any more excited about it than I am now. It is what it is. I mean, who knows? I like, I don't know how like the Oscars and shit like that started. So, I mean, maybe they're onto something.
Okay, but okay, so
Who knows?
here's why I find this whole concept inherently a bad idea to begin with. Because I know a lot of people in the chat, like Wesley and all them, that's saying that yeah, the guy, like I think in my opinion, the guy had the right intentions when he did the awards. I don't think he was doing
Right.
it as
No, definitely not.
as a basically to kind of single out any channels or to isolate channels altogether, but execute like I just thought the whole idea was bad because this is my point of view. Like a lot of us that are doing these YouTube things on our IG stuff, we're doing it to kind of, and I guess I'll speak for myself. I'm doing it more just to be involved with the community. I never really got into this to kind of
Mhm.
be number one. It's like I never really thought of this as a competition where I kind of have to beat. I almost feel like it works better when you're working with channels and when you're actually
Absolutely.
and when
Right.
I just find like these kind of award stuff, it kind of divides the community because you have people like okay, let's just say you took this award seriously, and let's say let's say our channel won for best spec. Then what's going to happen is you're going to have people that are fans of the other channels. They're going to be very vocal about, oh, we don't deserve it, and you know what I mean. It's going to start causing a lot of
Yeah.
unnecessary arguments in the community. I never really liked this whole concept to begin with, and I'm saying this even if we won, it didn't seem like there would have been a right outcome.
You're ranking people at that point, right? So.
Exactly. I mean, I get it. Certain things like when you go to the NHL, when you go to the Oscars, you try to
Mhm.
be the best in your craft. This I kind of look at this as a community. It's like because the thing is, our channels, we don't just do isolated content. We collaborate with several channels when we can. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I can't tell you who won for best singer last year. I can't tell you what was best picture or anything like that. I could probably tell you a few Eisner winners, but that's about it. Like, I, it's great. It's great for the channels that are in it or that win it or whatever. I honestly don't care if we do or not. Like, that's
hmm,
just me personally. No offense to this or anything like that. It's just not really what I'm here for or any of that.
exactly,
So
yeah.
That's
whatever.
exactly it.
It is what it is.
And listen,
If they want to do it and they want to have fun with it, more power to them.
yeah,
Like I said, it's awesome to be recognized and it's appreciated. But
Mhm.
like I said, I can't lose sleep if we don't win it. I can't get real excited if we do because I just don't know enough about it. I don't know that the community actually had much input on it or anything like that. So
I mean, look, the only recognition that I usually like enjoy is like when people actually interact with my posts and all that. That's the kind of stuff that I kind of like. This whole award thing, I mean, like I said, it just feels like, uh,
I just don't like the ranking system.
yeah,
It separates people, right? It makes you think one person's better than the other, and then, like you said, some people may sway to one side, other or the other, and
mm,
causes arguments.
yeah,
No
I
need.
just,
There's no need for that. Just enjoy the comic books, enjoy the community.
yeah, I just don't see a good outcome coming from any of this.
Hmm.
So, and even certain channels actually have been vocal that were nominated that actually wanted to sit this one out and basically didn't want to be a part of this. And so you have that. So it is what it is. But I mean, I just figured we might as well address it because it seems like every other channel is addressing it. So
For
yeah,
sure.
no, I mean, hey, absolutely, it makes sense. I do think it's a cool idea. There probably needs to be some work on the execution. Um, Maybe come up with a better plan for next year. I don't know, and
see,
maybe there won't be as much backlash or whatever. I guess,
so the thing
and
is,
just take it from there.
here's the thing, Face. I think it would be better served if they did something where they're recognizing channels as opposed to pitting channels in categories. Because now you kind of have
Yeah,
spotlights
that
on
could work.
channels that aren't. It's almost like what's his name? Just a Rican. He spotlights different YouTube channels, right? It's like something like that where you're kind of spotlighting a particular content creator versus you know putting like five different people in a category, and then at that point, it's almost like you have one winner and then you have four losers,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. So I would say that's probably a better route. Just
Well, for all of the four losers,
And
and
again, when I say loser,
and
I say that very loosely. I'm not. I don't. You know what I mean. It's
no, yeah,
That's not what you mean.
it is what it is. Well, I fully expect that we'll be one of them, and that's okay. I'm not because like I was just getting ready to say, don't lose any sleep over it.
Mhm.
You got nominated. That's cool enough, I guess. So
It's not like I'm even following this anyway. So for all we know, maybe the voting is already closed. I'm not like just like what you just said, Face. I'm not eagerly waiting for the results to come in because, like I said, when you only have 200 followers and your post has 17 likes, how big of a sample size are you really getting for this?
I don't even know how the voting took place or when or I don't know
right.
anybody who actually
Yeah.
voted.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, we've actually had some great comments in chat. So let's go ahead and say hello to a few people that have jumped in. We got Dan De La Torre in here joining us tonight. We got Wesley's Comics Connection joining us. Hey, look at this.
What's
Comic
up?
dudes up in the chat.
Oh, double duty.
Snuck in there.
Tim Sinkovitz. We got joining Bricks the Iron Geek.
What's up?
Comic Ozzy. Michael Baker. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Get off
You
YouTube.
know.
Oh no.
But
Oh no.
yeah, like I said, we got some really good comments, and one that that I just noticed. Of course there were many other ones previously, but this one stood out. At least it should have been marketed more and gotten a bigger following beforehand. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. kind of announcing it beforehand, getting voting on like even the nominees and everything probably would have went pretty far to assuage some of the backlash, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of it would have been hard for people to, I think, take as much of a stance against it. So so
No.
had there been more voting, I guess, beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a testament that a lot of people are saying, "I never heard of this. Where's the voting?" I think I even heard Tim say there was a vote. Exactly. That's my point exactly. Sub
Right.
Unix. Yeah. So it's almost like it just execution was done poorly. Again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point when we say that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, though. You live and you learn, and
Yeah.
maybe next time it'll be better. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
If they run it again or whatever.
Oh, Face. On a more positive note,
Mhm.
I actually discovered something.
What's that?
That's actually kind of interesting. Well, those of you that follow me on IG, I posted this book, right? I don't know, Face, if you remember. This was the.
Let's go
This
ahead and bring up a highlight here.
Okay, so
What a classic.
so for the Canadian viewers that are currently watching this right now,
Okay.
I mentioned how this book was distributed by a company called Zellers, which basically is a Canadian. Think of it like a Canadian Kmart.
Okay.
So they had this book distributed like in 1992 to promote literacy, right?
Mhm.
So I had a copy of this, but it was so ratty I had to throw it. So I was able to find another copy, in like a VF condition this past weekend in a back issue.
Nice.
Here's the thing, and you're gonna laugh at this. So I read the back because this whole thing is to promote literacy, right? So here's the
Right.
thing: what it says in the back. Look at point number 2. Visit your library to find hidden
Oh, this
treasure.
guy. This
This-
guy.
Keep in mind, this is probably like my second comic that I ever owned. I'm thinking this is like a foreshadowing of the Hyper Combo Comics tagline where I say, if you're too broke to buy comics, visit your local library.
So basically, what you're saying is it's not even original. You stole it.
No, I think this almost 30 years ago. Yeah.
I don't even think you realized that happened.
No, I mean, you're so shocked that you're shuffling all of us around the screen.
Right?
No, but I figured I'd point that out. But yeah, because I saw that, I'm like, holy shit. Is this why I've been saying my tagline the whole time? Well, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it's stolen material.
No, we'll call it inspiration.
Hyper, I actually wanted to point out something. Actually, we're gonna say hello to Moonlit Comics real quick,
So,
and Bleecker Street. They just jumped in the chat also. Universe X actually just gave some information about this. They have some sponsors, it says, and some of the nominees are affiliated with the sponsors.
okay, that kind of skews.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of
So
skews things.
that definitely seems like it would kind of skew,
the votes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Even the nominees and everything like that.
Like I said,
Exactly.
when you only have like 17 likes, chances are a lot of those likes are probably people from your circle. I doubt a lot of those likes were randos that just kind of saw your page and clicked
fair
vote.
enough.
So yeah, and again, I don't want to single out any channels, but you'll notice if you go to the page, there are certain channels that pop up quite frequently in several nominations.
Right.
Not naming any names, but just saying.
Just say.
Well,
So-
I mean, I'll be honest, like having
true.
scrolled through, different the different categories and the nominees and everything like that. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't very surprised to see most of the nominees that were there for most of the categories because, I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, they're the bigger channels. You know, they're the channels that have the largest subscriber counts and everything like that. So
You would think so, but there are certain
not all of them.
categories.
Not all of them.
There's certain categories. Again, not naming names, but there's certain categories where you'll see a channel that have a couple of Ks of subscribers,
Right.
and they're ping up against another channel that has a couple of hundred. So
Right.
it's
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I know it is new, and a lot of the YouTube channels and everything like that are still relatively new and everything.
Mhm.
Seems like maybe it's a little early in the game to even think about doing award shows. Who knows?
Well,
Like I said, what
it's
happens,
not like I was.
down the road. But
Well, look, even if you dressed up, we wouldn't know anyways.
yeah, I would accept the award the same way.
Yeah.
That's good.
But guys, what else we got going on this week as far as comic news? Anything big that you guys wanted to talk about real quick before we get into the horror stuff?
Okay, let me ask because I haven't seen it yet. Any of you
I
have
knew that was going to come up.
did any of you see Shang-Chi yet?
I have not seen it yet either. I want to though. I need to see it this week.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to see it.
Hyper, come down. Let's go see.
Yeah, I
go
might
see
have.
it,
I might actually. That might be my only option. Given the whole
Say
restrictions
when.
here. Given the
Oh, yeah.
restrictions here, I might actually have to drive down for Popeyes and Shang-Chi. So that's
I can make that happen.
Yeah, I actually have not seen it yet either. I think we're going to see it tomorrow. But
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
I've heard really good things about it.
I haven't heard bad things at all. Like it's only been
everybody
positive.
seems to have liked it. So
Well, look, BC, who is still in the chat, I don't know what. Get off the internet. He's still. He's saying it's a 9.8 for him, so he's really holding it in high regards.
yeah, I'm excited to see it for sure.
Mhm.
The trailers looked great. It looks like a fun
Definitely.
movie. And I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with the character, and his backstory and all of that. So, well,
That's what I was just gonna say as well. Like I'm just gonna go in there with no expectations at all, but because I don't really know what to expect, right? But
expect,
right.
But see, this is the
see
problem.
what happens.
This is the problem, and this happened with me with Guardians of the Galaxy. So remember when the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out, right? It was a relatively unknown. I mean, to comic readers, they knew the franchise, but I'm talking about I wasn't reading comics back when that movie came out back in 2000. What was it? 2014, I believe.
Around there, yeah.
That movie, I remember, it took a lot of people by surprise in a very pleasant way. A lot of people gave it great reviews. I was late to the parties, but the thing is, at that point, all my friends were basically talking up that movie, saying how it was great and all that. So by the time I got to the movie, I'm not saying that I was disappointed with the movie, but it's just that I had already a built-in expectation based on everyone saying it was awesome. So you know what I mean? It's like I didn't come in with a blank slate when I saw Guardian, so I was kind of let down. So, but I mean that's why I got to see this movie quick before I'm kind of late. But I already have high expectations for this movie just because from the early reviews I'm hearing from my friends and just from social media, it seems like this movie is getting a lot of good press.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a good time. That's all I'm looking at it as right at the moment. And that it ties into the larger MCU.
Exactly.
Here's another good question. UniX is asking about DC fandom. He's heard that there's going to be some big announcements coming next month, and asking are you guys ready for it? Are you excited for it at all?
Wait, so if I remember correctly, I think last year's DC fandom did give us a lot of good gems in terms of announcements. Isn't that because that's around the same time they announced the two video games, right? The Suicide Squad and the new Arkham.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember being stoked when I saw the trailer of with the Bat family.
That was sick. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
And the Court of Owls actually being introduced in game. So
I'm excited for that.
yeah, because I mean the Scott Snyder New 52 run was probably one of my favorite Batman runs. So the fact that they'd be, I'm actually surprised that the Court of Owls haven't really resurfaced as much. I mean, you see the talent and all that, but I'm kind of surprised that they're kind of somewhat subdued. I feel.
For now.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for that. It looks like it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, and like actual Dracula mentioned, obviously the Batman trailer also
Yep.
from last year. So I would hope to see more news from that as well.
Yeah, right. It'll be about time.
Well,
That'd be nice.
question for you guys. I mean, what's your feeling regarding this direction of Batman? I know we don't have much to go off of, but like, what's your initial? I'm taking a wait. I know some people are really stoked about it. I'm kind of almost taking a wait and see approach, just because I don't know where this all fits in.
Dude, go ahead. I'll let you jump in first.
I'm not too familiar with DC. If you're talking like story wise, like where it fits into the comics, you know, the actor himself, Robert Pattinson, that's a wait and see for me. We'll see if he's able to pull it off. You know, we haven't seen too much from that, but so far from the images I've seen, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks. I'll be honest.
Little dark.
Imagery, yeah, so far has looked
Mhm.
even darker and grittier than Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could work for Batman. Now he doesn't necessarily need to become the murderous Batfleck or anything like that. And you know, that's not a knock on Batfleck at all. Like I thought he was actually pretty good in the character. The script was just not a great interpretation of Batman at all. But he played the role of Bruce Wayne pretty well. He played the role of Batman pretty well, other than the fact that he murdered shitloads of people. But yeah, the new one. I mean, you know, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see it. It looks like a very year one take on it. So.
Well, the thing is, yeah, exactly. Actually, that was what I was going to mention, Face. How I heard that this iteration's almost taking more of a detective route rather than that whole action. Like, I guess almost in the vein, like you said, of year one, or even like I even heard the storyline of Last Halloween being thrown around as one of the, not last, Long Halloween. Sorry, Long Halloween. Like
Which they just did the animated movies that were pretty good, actually.
Well, I mean, DC for the most part, I find their animated movies usually are pretty stellar.
Yeah, they usually knock it out of the park. They're doing Injustice too, so.
Injustice based on the video game.
I mean, Injustice also. They're doing an animated movie for that. I'm not sure if it's going to be based off of the comic or the video game. To be honest.
Well, hold on.
Because there is a difference.
Didn't the comic come after the video game for Injustice?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of. I mean, have you guys played or heard of the premise of Injustice? It's pretty dark to begin with. I mean, just the direction that they took Superman in, especially with part one.
Yeah, but you know what? Even in animation, DC has been able to do dark pretty well. Like they did the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and
that's true.
That shit was dark as fuck, but it worked and it was good.
Yeah, no, but in this case, they painted Superman to be like a vengeful, like he was basically the antagonist for the entire game. And because I haven't really read the comics in Injustice, I'm just going off of the game, and I think the comics is somewhat of an adaptation of the game. But yeah, because I mean, if for those of you that don't know, I believe, dude, correct me if I'm wrong. Like the start of it is how Superman got manipulated and he killed Lois Lane, right?
Yeah.
By the Joker.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then because of that, he basically went almost like on a tyranny, almost kind of make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen. And what ended up happening is, like, the villains, not the villains and heroes had to unite to kind of take down Superman.
Pretty
Um,
much, yeah.
It's more than just Superman, though. Like
no. I mean, he built an alliance also.
yeah, he had a whole regime of
Yeah.
superheroes and villains that were with him too. So it was essentially, it was. I don't want to say it was like Civil War, Marvel Civil War, but
It was a lot darker
just for
than
comparison, yeah,
A
that's about
lot
as good as it
darker.
gets. Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah.
darker than Civil War.
Iron Man wasn't killing
was a
people that.
What was that? Sorry.
No,
No, I was like saying Iron Man wasn't killing people that weren't following with the pro registration.
Exactly. Civil War was a
Right,
walk in
right.
the park compared to that.
yeah,
So
for sure. But it's a great story. I mean, fucking Tom Taylor killed it when he wrote that. So, I mean, I kind of hope that they go with the comic book story because it gives them more room to play with. You know what I mean?
yeah, and the thing is, they're already on season 3 in the comic books because like the game's already done. I mean, I think it was Zen Multiverse who said that there might be a teaser for Injustice 3. Like Injustice 2
Mhm.
came out a few years ago. We haven't had an Injustice game in a while, so basically
Right.
the comics that we're getting right now is basically new material, which could be added into the game. So. And yeah, like you said, Tom Taylor is writing it, so I probably should be. I'm so behind on Injustice, so I figure I'll have to catch up at some point. But I can't really add it to my pool because I'm just going to be playing catch up.
It's crazy because like I don't know. It's not. It seems like Tom Taylor's his work sells really well. You look at what the Nightwing series has done,
Mm-hmm.
and I would even say like it seems like people are buying the early issues of Superman, Son of Kal-El, and everything like that. But then
Yeah.
he tends to do a lot of like these sort of Elseworlds miniseries, like Injustice. He's doing Dark Ages now, stuff like that, and it just kind of makes you wonder, like especially okay, like Marvel is the one that stands out for me because I don't know if he's done or I think this is at least the first work he's done for a while in Marvel.
I'm thinking. I mean, he like no. He actually did he did Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man a few years back.
Okay, so but yeah, that's a few years ago. It just
No,
seems like he would be more useful in like a main series.
no. I feel like there's something else that he did with Marvel. That can't be the only thing. I mean,
I thought he's been at DC for just doing DC exclusive for a while now.
well, he was doing DC as well as Boom, right? Because he was doing Seven Secrets.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you might be right. Maybe he did take a hiatus from Marvel for a bit.
Yeah, I just haven't like I can't remember being on anything in Marvel for a while. And man, it just seems like he would do much better on like mainline series.
I guess he did Dark Ages. It says Zen Multiverse there.
Yeah, no, but Dark Ages
Yeah,
is currently what's
that's
happening.
his
Yeah,
work.
exactly. That's
But yeah,
And Deceased,
I can't think of
Deceased was
anything
another
else
one.
really right now.
Yeah, Deceased was the other one that was awesome over there at DC. I know another Elseworlds type of story.
Mhm. Face Uniax actually brought up a point that I was going to touch on and then I completely forgot about. Yeah, Static. And well, actually, before Static,
Right.
I was actually thinking of also, if we're going to get any not confirmation, but a bit more. Yeah, I guess you could say confirmation a bit in with Michael B. Jordan's whole involvement because there's been a lot of reports, rumors that Val Zod might be coming, to the big screen and all that. So Static, and Static, has been hot lately in terms of like pretty much a lot of the milestone stuff, but Static being like the main one from the old milestone line.
Static would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious as to what route that they'll go with Static. Kind of looks like they're I guess I don't know. He seems like they're portraying him as a little bit older now than they did before.
Like
Um,
the current series, you mean?
yeah. So
Okay.
I'm curious as to where they'll go as far as the casting. But hearing that, Michael B. Jordan is involved in it, you know,
No, wait. Is
that's
it
definitely a good
Static
sign.
that no? But it's not Static that he's involved in, is it? I
I
thought it
thought he was
was.
producing Static. Isn't he producing Static?
Oh, he
I thought
he
I
has.
heard rumors with that, with his name
Oh,
attached to it. I don't know what his involvement is at all.
okay. I thought it was just. I thought he was strictly tied with the whole, Valzad Superman, that whole thing. Oh, I wasn't aware that he was also tied with Static as well.
Yeah, Comics Talk Weekly is asking about the milestone reboots and if they're miniseries. So I think they are, or like maxi series. I guess they might be 12 issues. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why DC has adapted this weird like season strategy that they're going with. I don't know what that shit is about.
Maybe. I,
But
I mean, I guess maybe. I don't know if it's from a reader's point of view, because like sometimes, like, if you know that a series is only 6 issues, you don't mind committing. Like, if you're already 2 issues in, maybe you'll be like, all right, well, let's just stick it out for the next 6 issues. Whereas if you're doing an ongoing series, right, and if you're not feeling it after a couple of issues, you're just gonna drop it. So maybe having
I
these
mean,
self-contained storylines almost, I don't know, this is just my logic. It might entice
that's
people to
that
kind of,
that's actually some sound logic, to be honest.
New marketing strategy.
yeah,
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 for
I
sure.
really can't argue with that.
because
Makes sense.
that's happened to me several times where I'm not feeling like a mini series, but I'm like, look, I'm already 3 out of 8 issues in, so I'm like,
Right.
I'll just. I mean, technically,
Damn, I
at
do
this,
that shit too, man.
yeah, yeah, it's
How much
almost
money
like
do we waste doing that?
I'm like, I figured, look, I'm already at the halfway point. Let me just get it. Whereas, like I said, if it's an ongoing, and I feel like with ongoing, I'll be like, all right, well, I'm done after this current story arc, and then I'm off it. So
Right, right.
you never know. That maybe that, and listen, if that is the case, smart on them. That's one way to sell your books, or at
Might
least,
work, honestly.
yeah.
Huh? It
Now,
makes sense.
obviously, there's certain reasons. I mean,
Okay.
like, it's within reason. Like, if an issue is like a 12 issue series, and I'm not feeling it after issue number 2, I'm not going to stick it out for the next 10 issues. Uh,
Right, right.
so
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
I can't argue the logic. Like I said,
Hmm.
it's sound. Um, like I said, it seems kind of weird, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still gonna pick up the comics. Icon and Rocket, I've really enjoyed so far. Static has been good. Um, Hardware, like Hardware, I would say it's my least favorite, but I'm still enjoying it so far. You know what I mean? Like it's not a bad read. So
I'll be full transparency, because I never really read the milestone stuff back when it was originally coming out.
Mhm.
I haven't actually picked up the newer stuff just because, like I said, I don't have an affiliation. I might read it eventually just so that I can kind of see what all you know um the hype is, I guess. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
currently I'm not really picking up any milestone because I don't have an affinity towards it.
So yeah, UniX is saying actually about Blood Syndicate. That's another one of the books that came out in the original Milestone run, and I'm actually curious now at his comment is are they doing another Blood Syndicate series? Has anyone heard if they are?
I'm not
No
That would
sure.
idea.
be that would be great. Like
But
yeah,
the
No
thing
idea.
is,
definitely be a pickup for me.
like, if it's a popular milestone series, I mean, the fact that they've already resurrected several defunct series,
Right.
it
Yeah.
would it would make sense to me. Like, again, I don't know the popularity of Blood Syndicate. Face, you might know this better, but
Yeah, I
it
mean, I
seems like
liked
the,
all the
the
original Milestone runs. There was another one too, Zombie, that was part of it. That was pretty
is it
good.
wait,
So
it's just straight up called Zombie?
it was a weird spelling. It was like an X and there was no E or something like that. But
Okay.
like,
Hmm.
yeah, you know,
I'll have
they
to look it
were
up.
yeah they were good reads. Back in the day, they were definitely you know they had a '90s vibe for sure. But
Nice.
yeah, hopefully we would get another Blood Syndicate series at some point, because yeah, the Milestone line should be, pretty successful. It's great characters, and they've got some pretty good creative teams on them, writing some good stories right now. So
Yeah, and like Unix is saying, like they are. I mean, yeah, it is clear that DC is trying to rebuild the Milestone universe. So, and you're seeing it right now with some of these original issues that I remember I saw Static One like 2 years ago. It was like a $20 issue for the first appearance.
yeah,
And what is it like now? Like 100 or something, or maybe more.
yeah,
Around.
about right, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going
It's
up.
crazy.
Yeah.
They're definitely building it up, so just a matter of time.
So, guys, it's starting to get to that time of the year. You know, it's starting to get a little bit chilly outside. We're starting to get to the very end of summer. You know, I'm starting to see pumpkin spice everything starting to show up everywhere.
Oh, so you saw yesterday's episode? I'm
Oh, no.
guessing.
Well, you know,
I was so happy somebody called you out on it. I was so happy. I was like, yes, that's for my milk.
Listen, I still think milk beats it.
You're not wrong. Not wrong.
No,
I
actually,
don't know,
no.
man. It's close.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring it out again tonight, but I decided against it. So
I didn't have. I didn't get
next
it.
time.
I can't drink that shit too many times. That like I feel like you might as well just put the sugar in an IV.
Oh no.
Right. But that being said, you know, it's getting towards that time of year where, you know, we start seeing the horror movies on TV and everything. Everybody's getting ready for Halloween and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it would be fun to like sort of do a horror episode.
Okay.
Now, so what I'm going to say is that being said, my guest tonight is he's having some issues. You know, he's you know, this was going to be his first appearance coming on, so he's having some technical difficulties. So we can back it up because we got plenty of time between now and then, and we can just do the horror stuff later.
Okay.
And we can just talk some comics, you know, with you know our people in chat.
Well, Face.
So.
Since we're kind of biting for time, can I share with the community what I picked up? One of my wish list comics that unexpectedly came about.
Hell
this
yeah!
weekend?
Is this the $55?
FF49.
Yeah, the FF49.
Oh
No, the $55 one.
That still scars me. We'll have to rectify that at some point. But hold on, let me turn off my camera. So let me
Someday.
just pull up. Yeah, one day. Hold on.
You know what? But real quick before you show this, I actually feel great right at the moment because I'm seeing all these comments talking about. I forgot about zombie.
Is that how you spell it?
Yeah, that was how it was spelled.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Interesting.
Comics Talk Weekly. Forgot about Zombie too, you know, like and it was such a good series that it's
I'll definitely look it up.
Yeah.
Zombie. Interesting. Hold on, I'll be back.
I'm glad there's more appreciation for it. Oh, and Hyper went all Avatar on us, so he's definitely got a good surprise. I'm trying to think of what it is. Like I'm going through all the stuff he's posted recently. Like, what is this he's about to pop on screen here? I don't think it's going to be the Fantastic Four 49.
No, it's not.
Come on.
All right. Let me go ahead and.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's not a mega grill. It's just a book that I've been eyeing on my wish list for a while, like several years. But it's been always a case where either the condition wasn't what I would have liked for the price, or the price was higher than what I was willing to pay for. So it's either one or the other. And the problem is, you know how lately, with the whole comic boom, several key issues have been going up, right?
Right.
This being one of them, especially with the whole Carnage, Venom 2 movie coming out. This book, took a big spike. But here's the thing: what's that?
Is it ASM 361?
No, I'm going to show you. I already have ASM 361.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought you had that.
No. So the thing is, So this is a case where I just went to. Actually, you know what? I'll show the book and then I'll explain the story.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a classic cover for sure.
yeah. Here's the deal with this. Like
Do tell.
recently, so I will. So recently, like I stumbled on like one of those. You like those hobby shops, like those collectible shops where it's like everything's like it's like a cluttered mess, and you have like a bunch of old consoles like Ataris, Nintendos, and all that. And then it's basically like a collectible shop that nothing was organized.
Sometimes those are the best spots, though.
And so, but here's the thing though. So he had a couple of long boxes, and the long boxes look like someone kind of like dropped them. Kind of,
Oh,
so.
Oh
Uh,
man.
okay.
But here's the thing: I was able to find some gems in those long boxes like a couple of days ago. I'll probably post some of my findings on IG like in the coming days. I like. There's a couple of little minor keys that I pulled up. So I told the guy like because I went through all his long boxes and I'm like, I guess I'll come back in a few weeks, like because he said that he had more boxes in his garage and all that he hasn't taken out yet. So I'm like, okay, I figure I'll just come back in a few weeks when he gets more inventory. Yesterday and again, so I went through all his stuff, right? So yesterday I was in the area and I had to pick up something. I had to pick up some headphones or something. So then I figured, okay, let me just pop in the shop because he said that once in a while he does get new stuff. But I'm like, on a Sunday, I don't know what he's gonna get. So he sees me in, and then he's like, "Oh, I got some more comics." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I was expecting, usually when people say I got more comics, like at antique shop, I'm expecting it's like filler book. And then he's like, "Yeah," I got the Venom's first cover appearance. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
But he warned me the condition wasn't that great. So, and this is a dude. Just to preface, he kind of looks up prices on eBay, and he already told me off the bat that it's a He said it's a $300 book, but he's gonna price it at $100. I'm like, okay, but let's just see how the book looks. Like, look,
Yeah.
Right.
You haven't even seen it yet?
I'm telling you right now. I'm not I know eBay sellers say this quite a bit when they say I'm not a professional grader. I'm not a professional grader, but honestly, this copy, I could barely make out 3 or 4 spine ticks that are color break.
Oh wow.
His criticism with the actual book is because here's the thing, he's not really a comic book guy, so he doesn't realize that certain defects can be pressable.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to pressable defects, but certain defects, because to him, when he sees like a crease in a book or like a fold in a page, immediately that drops the value. Which it does, but not counting the fact that I could easily press these things out and you could probably still get a high grade on these. So he basically priced it accordingly. So he basically sold this for 100 Canadian. And honestly,
Wow.
this I would guess could probably hit a 9.2, maybe even a 9.4. The only so Unix
You're
was
easily
asking,
doubling your money there.
So Unix was asking if there's any water stains. So the thing is, there's no water stains, but I mentioned this to Comic Dude. There's a slight tanning on one of the corners, but it's very faint. Let me see if I can even show it to the camera. I don't know how well it will show. But like like sometimes like those older comics, they have like a bit of a tanning around the edges. It has like the brownish look.
Right.
I don't know if you guys will see this that well, but it
can't even really see it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's like right there.
Very faint. Yeah.
Very faint. That's pretty much the only tanning, and it's only in this section right there.
If it comes out at a 9.2, you're still doubling your money though. Like,
Dude,
that's a win. It's a win-win.
Dude, even if this comes out at an 8.0, I'm still in the money for what I paid. Like again, I'm not selling this because like I said, this was a book that was on my wish list. Like look, the cheapest I was able to find it a while back was a VF copy for $100, and this is before the market exploded. So at that time, a VF for 100 didn't seem it worth it for me to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's almost like you'd be lucky to find this at a VF for $100 Canadian. I'm saying Canadian, not US. So
Yeah, and it's always it's it's always awesome or special or whatever to find a Grail book just like in the wild like that.
yeah, and the
Honestly.
thing is, it goes to show sometimes you catch a brick. Like there's been times where I walk out with nothing and I've been digging, and then sometimes unexpectedly this kind of just falls in your lap. I was just at the right place and at the right time.
Yeah, I mean it's not every day you can pick up a Fantastic Four 49 for $55 or
Yeah,
anything like that.
that
But every now and then you can
Someday
catch
we
a
will,
Grail for
though.
100.
so here's the thing,
Never.
like, and here's where I even like I felt a bit, I guess, ballsy. I even tried to see if I could haggle the guy and be like, so can you do it a bit lower? And he's like, no, like I know that this could sell, so I'm like, no, fair enough. I don't want to push him too much. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it for 100. We're good.
So if he would have said, "Yeah, man, you know what? I'll take 53," you just rolled with that shit and thought he was selling it for $53.
No, well, I mean, he already said 100, and then at this time I know he meant $100, not 100,000. Like I thought with the Fantastic
That
Four.
would have sucked.
Yeah. So yeah, because when he told me it was like 300 to 100, I was expecting like some VG, like tattered, like reader copy. I wasn't expecting like this. So, and as a bonus, so while I was there, I was feeling so good with my purchase that I ended up picking up these. These
One second.
Nice.
the
Street Fighter.
Okay. Oh, from
the
that horrible Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
I picked up 8 packs. He priced them at $1.50. There's like 8 cards in them. So
Wow, he robbed you for $1.50. Wow, that's insane.
dude, when I saw these on the shelf, I'm like there was only 6 left. I basically just
Snagged
them all. I just snagged them all, and I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for all these.
Okay, so here we got a good question in chat. RPC got a newsstand on that, but the staples are a bit rusty.
Oh yeah.
Anybody have any idea how bad that would be?
Rust,
as far as the repaired and restored information, I will be perfectly honest. I'm no expert on that by any means. But Bleecker Street Comics in chat does a lot of cleaning and pressing services, so he might be able to give you more information on that part of it.
I mean,
dinged. I know it would definitely get dinged for that. How bad it would be, I'm not sure. What do you think?
The thing is, because I have read up on grading a bit just for my own research, and I do remember reading how anytime it involves oxidization, like rusty staples and that kind of stuff, like molding, that does it is a significant hit on the grade.
Okay.
Like, see, even Bleecker saying you right away you're looking at an 8.5. But here's my thing, though. If the book has rusty staples, I'd venture to guess there's other issues with that book, because there's no way a book would just have rusty staples. There's usually other factors that come with rusty staples, I would think.
Like additional water damage or something, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine a book being like a pristine, like a 9.8 condition, and then you have rusty staples. You know what I mean? There's probably other things going on with that book.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. Like I would imagine that the pages might be discolored. There's a bit of foxing maybe. So all of that kind of could possibly, I would like, yeah, you're starting off at an 8.5, but maybe you might even knock it down to like a 7.0, 6.5 maybe.
Wow. Good to know.
And the thing is, I know that
good information.
Like a buddy of mine who does my CGC submissions and pressings, he has told me that, because he still is continuing to do, he sends books on a weekly basis, and he's been telling me that there's a fine line now between a 9.8 and a 9.6, whereas he told me like a year ago, you could get away with a bit more to get that 9.8, whereas it seems like lately CGC is being a little bit more stricter on that 9.8 grade.
Yeah.
So you're more. So that's why uh I don't know if it's maybe they want to just because CGC has been getting a bit of flack lately because I have heard criticism where some people say that CGC is a bit lenient with their grading sometimes.
You're
So
right.
maybe as a PR thing, they want to make sure that that 9.8 counts for something. But yeah, because look, the same guy that does my pressing, he showed me a book, like a Spawn book that had clear as a day. I think two or three visible color breaking spine ticks, and it got a 9.8. I mean, from my understanding,
Wow.
usually one color breaking tick already, for the most part, brings it down to a 9.6.
I would think
Well,
so.
I believe there is some kind of a provision in there for like, for instance, if there's similar damage across like the entire print run or
Yeah.
something like that. But I mean, a spine tick would be pretty difficult to get
Well,
across
the
the
thing is,
entire run.
in his case, he had several spine ticks. But yeah, you are right, Face,
Right.
because he did tell me, you know that issue, Hell Arisen 3, the first, was it cameo or full appearance of Punchline?
Yeah.
That book apparently notoriously got a lot of like issues going on with that book.
Right.
But apparently, he told me that CGC was very lenient with that book in terms of giving it a 9.8 because it's almost like they were grading it on a curve.
Makes you well, it makes me think of the Marvel Point One, that first appearance of Sam Alexander
The
with
line, right?
that factory line right across it, right?
Yeah.
So
But it's
Right.
almost like at that point, I don't know. Someone made a comment which I couldn't agree more, where they say like not all 9.8s are created equal. Like some like the thing is, it's like here's the thing. It's usually when you're on eBay or something, people are more comforted when they see a graded book versus a raw book, right? Because when it's a raw
Mhm.
book, it's almost like you're up to your own imagination. Whereas a graded book, you see the grade, you know what grade you're getting, so you know what kind of book you're getting. The problem is some people are very picky because I know certain people like they want their books centered. They don't want that book because
Right.
CGC will still give it a 9.8 if the book is kind of off the staple. You know what I mean, where like the book is not completely flush.
Yeah.
That doesn't automatically ding it from a 9.8, but there are some people that would prefer their books nice and centered. So in those cases,
No doubt.
like look, I'm not that picky with my covers. Usually for me, as long as the cover is very presentable, I'm happy with it. But that's why like even 9.8s, there's distinguishing factors in a 9.8.
agreed.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because yeah, like a lot of people are saying in chat, they've been catching a lot of heat lately from
Yeah.
any number of mistakes that you could just if you follow the comic community on IG, I'm sure you've come across some of them. Uh, and it is about time that they get a little bit better quality control. Hopefully, so
Yeah, and the thing is, regarding that Marvel Point One, I know that was it Ozzy or Tim Bleeker also mentioned how there's a couple of copies that didn't have the lines. I'm sure there are, but here's the
It's
thing:
true.
every copy that for some reason that I've encountered from different shops, all of them had that same line.
Mine too, man.
I've
Mine too.
never, like, from my hunting experience, I've never come across a copy of that book that didn't have that line. So for those of you that found one, kudos, because honestly, that kind of prevented me from, like, even though, like you said, I knew that CGC would forgive it. It just, like my eyes still couldn't.
I own a copy,
Yeah.
and
See,
it's
the thing
got the
is,
line.
no, but see, the thing is, like, it depends, like, how much I'd be willing to pay for that. You know what I mean? Like yeah, you're right, it's a known defect, but still it is a defect that's right on the cover, so it does kind of bother me a bit.
It is noticeable. You're right. So
Yeah,
it's
I guess Face had enough of this CGC talk and he left.
I guess so, man. Uh oh.
Okay, so we're
What do you want to
yeah.
talk about?
Oh,
Oh, there we
okay,
go.
there we go. Face.
yeah, it looks like I just like lost connection for a second or something.
Yeah, you stormed off. You had like a tantrum or something just because we were talking about.
Right?
Yeah, no, I was just talking about how I have not found a Sam Alexander first appearance without that line running across it.
Yeah, the point ones. Yeah. Do they do? How hard do they knock that at all?
No, they don't.
'Cause I know it's
I've
not
Apparently,
like
heard no.
across.
no.
Yeah, see, I know it's
Uh,
not across the entire run. I think it was a pretty significant portion of it, right?
yeah, because like I was mentioning to Comic Dude, every copy that I've encountered in the wild or in shops, they've all had the line. But I know that some people have attested in the chat that they have found copies that didn't have it. So it seems like you're more likely to get it than not, from my experience at least.
Right.
Um,
But if they don't
so
knock it, I mean, see, the only problem then would be, how particular you are on
that's exactly my point.
presentation
That's
versus,
my
yeah,
point.
owning
Yeah.
it.
See, the
So,
thing is, I would much rather get the variant of that book. What was it? The Nick Bradshaw variant that had it was like a wraparound cover. It was the same book.
okay.
Oh yeah. And it has a couple like it has a lot more people on it there. It's like kind of got a purple kind of tintish to it.
Yeah, I would much
Yeah.
rather get that book because I don't think that book has any known issues. But yeah, personally, like I said, for the most part, for a modern book, I tend to forget. Like if the defects is around the edges, I can kind of look past it. But when it's like right on the cover, it like that's where my eyes focus on. So it's kind of yeah, it bothers me.
Another one that kind of stands out to me, I guess that had similar issues was that first issue of Kanto.
Yeah.
Because they had, I guess, some issues that were pretty much across the entire run, correct?
So the thing is, I was able to get that pressed, but here's the thing: though, my books got rejected from that CGC 9.8. This is if you remember during my pre-screening that I did.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy who actually does my pressing, he submitted the same book, and he got a 9.8. Like same defect, same pressed out defect. So he just got the luck of the draw.
What
And
was
he
the defect? If you
so
don't mind me
basically,
asking.
because Canto number one had a common issue where a lot of the copies had a printing like basically it had like creases on it
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
cover, and some of the creases actually broke color. Thankfully, mine didn't. But the thing is, they were noticeable. Like it was like you could kind of like feel your hand across it, and it was like that for like all the like I picked up 3 copies of issue 1, and all 3 of them had the same exact uh error. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
No, so do they knock it for that one?
So the thing is, like, see, in my case, it got rejected from my 9.8 pre-screen, even though we did press it out. But even when you press out that crease, you could still see a bit of that, like where the line used to be. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it doesn't break color, but you know that there was like a crease that was pressed out. So
Right.
it's not completely flush.
So that's
So
one that is across most of the line that they still kind of do knock it. I
yeah,
mean,
apparently I think Ultra Maximus mentioned how the books that were printed in because Diamond had printers in Canada and in the US, I guess.
mhm.
The ones that were printed in Canada apparently didn't have this issue. It was the ones that were printed in the States had that printing error, and the majority of the books were printed in the States. So
But
yeah.
you're Canadian.
But here's the thing though.
I'm
Apparently,
just saying.
But
no,
you're Canadian.
but apparently, what I'm told is because I'm from the East Coast, I think our Diamond books come from the US, like the printers. Whereas, I think if I was further down, like BC, like on the West Coast, maybe I think that's where I'd be getting the Canadian printing. So
Okay.
I didn't get the luck of the draw in terms of location in that case. Well, what do you guys think about this though? Actually, Dan brings up a good point. Like other grading companies, like you see like companies like EGS emerging, and like CBS kind of doing their thing, and then you have PGX also. I
Um,
mean,
I have nothing against other grading companies, honestly. Like, you know, they're professional graders, and they're just another company doing it. It's just not what the community is has voted the top, right?
Well,
So EGS has sweet labels, so you know,
I do like the
I like.
presentation. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so for me, usually like if I'm sending a book off to get it graded, for the most part, my intention really isn't at that point to sell it at all. Like I'm grading it to protect it for my own collection.
Exactly.
Right.
Um, so I don't have a problem with other grading companies. As far as them being competition, and I've actually been talking to uh, Comic Ozzy, and we may be seeing about getting him and some of the people over at EGS on the show here in the future. So that was one of the reasons why
Nice.
I highlighted that comment to get them on and talk about their company and what makes them different and everything like that.
Right.
So you know it's definitely good to have competition, and I think I do feel like that people get their comics graded for different reasons too. Like like I said, when I get a comic graded, I'm getting it done to protect it for my own collection. So if they've got a nice quality slab, a good a good label, and they're a professional company, and I don't have to worry when I send my books off to them or whatever.
Hmm.
I'm pretty good with that. I
Agreed.
the I guess the loss in potential value that I would have in using them right now versus CGC wouldn't really affect me because I don't want to sell the thing anyway. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so I kind of fall into both camps because I'll either grade a book for my like you said, for preservation for the PC, or I might grade a book with the intention of selling it just because I know that a graded book fetches for a lot more than a raw counterpart, especially if it's
Yeah,
like a 9.8 modern. Like, there's no way I'm going to send a modern book if it's like a 9.2, depending on the modern book, obviously. But for the most part, the majority of the cases, a modern book that doesn't hit at least, shoot, I think for the most part, it would have to hit a 9.8. I would say the majority of the time with moderns to even make it worthwhile to send it if your intention is to actually sell it in the market. Again, if it's your own personal collection, doesn't really matter. So I think that's why I guess what your intent is will depend on which grading company you'll go with. I mean,
yeah,
facts are facts. Right now, CGC kind of commands the resale value in terms of uh, top dollar you can get right now in the market. Because as much as people complain about CGC's turnaround and the quality control, numbers don't lie, and CGC for the most part is like a book that has a CGC label does command. I think I heard it was like something like 10% or 15% more value than their competitors. So if that's what you're in it for, currently CGC would be the way to go. Again, if it's for your own PC, then it's really your pick of the litter in terms of what you prefer. Personally, I'm not really a fan of the CBCS label. I kind of find it's a bit bland. Like the font is a bit too
yeah,
simplistic. I'm used to because I like the CGC label where they put like a white sticker and like the grade is like bold. Whereas I
yeah,
don't like the whole all blue thing that they were doing with the CBCS. I do like the EGS labels though. I do like that bold red that they used.
yeah,
So I so the style wise, I do like EGS's label in there, but
For sure.
and PGX, I don't know. Uh,
What do you got to say about PGX Hyper?
I don't know. See, the thing is,
they had their issues.
I've heard issues with PGX where apparently their cases aren't exactly very structurally sound.
Oh no.
I know PGX has had issues in the past. I various issues or whatever. I don't remember what they were, you
Hmm.
know, and at what points in time. I guess there have been some people that have been using them lately and everything, so maybe they're
Mm.
turning it around. I honestly have no idea. Um, EGS, I'm definitely taking a look at because we obviously have a lot of fans of them in chat, and it seems like they're a pretty emerging company in the grading business, and it sounds like they've got some pretty good service and everything like that. I've sent some books off to CGC in the past, but the only ones that I really sent has been for like signature series stuff, and that was more due to the signing than anything else, to be honest. So
And that's actually another reason why I might send a book to CBCS, because as you know, CGC doesn't do signed books unless they have a witness
right,
present. I
yeah,
have books look, I had books that I got signed prior to me even considering grading my books. Eventually, I may want to get these things graded. So at that point, I'll probably go with CBCS. To kind of, because CGC right now currently,
It's something
um,
to make them stand out from the rest, right? So
yeah. But again, that's so again, there's different factors onto why you would grade it. But I mean, and I just saw Comic Ozzy mentioning that he cracked his PGX case with ease.
yeah. It sounds like a couple people in chat have had some issues with PGX.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I can't personally speak on the company because I never used their case, so it's not fair for me to kind of make my. I'm just going off of what I've heard from fellow people whose opinions I trust. So,
Right, right.
um,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do remember seeing a scandal with them, potentially, I guess, taking money or whatever.
shit.
Man, that seems like it was a
Wow.
while ago. Yeah, I don't remember when that was, to be honest,
the,
or how that all came about, but I do remember hearing about it.
the thing is, like because
That should just ruin a company.
Right? Like,
uh,
yeah, that's just, I mean, it's really hard at that point to
your integrity basically gets
rebuild your,
questioned. Yeah,
yeah,
Exactly.
it's
I
almost
mean,
like yeah, because whether it's denied or whether it's proven, when you have it's very hard to get that stink off you, because at that point you have that cloud hanging over your head. So then when people think about your company, they're going to question the validity of the grades that's going to come,
Hmm.
and that's going to hurt you. Like if ever you eventually want to sell your books, if they see that label and the stigma attached with it, you know that's not going to be a good look. So reputation, like companies like these strive on reputation, which is why like EGS is very, it's in its infant stages. So for their sake, I really hope that things go well for them, because competition is good. I've always believed that if we have a solid number two, I mean technically CBCS is a number two, but I don't think that people like CBCS is getting it's getting a lot more of the market share than it used to, but it's still not at CGC's level yet.
No.
So, but
yeah,
I do
and
feel.
like you said, one of their big advantages is the, I guess, for lack of a better term, aftermarket grading services
Mhm.
for signatures. So,
Because look, one bad scandal can ruin a company, like especially when when the reputation is what makes the company.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And
So,
that's the thing. Like, there is a lot of postings and everything like that. Like you'll see on Facebook and IG and everything about quality control issues with certain companies, and
mhm.
everything like that. But these companies do get a lot of books. So I mean, maybe those percentages are really higher, than they should be, but they're probably not insanely huge percentages. But
And
mistakes are vastly different than flat out scandals.
well,
So
here's the thing though, and the thing is, I know that it doesn't really happen right now, but I know like during the summer it was like the cool thing to kind of bash CGC, right? Because they're the big company, and everyone took shots at them. So the thing is, I reached out to the guy that presses like my books, and who I told you that submits books on a weekly basis. So I asked
Hmm.
him like what's been your experience with CGC so far in terms of quality control? Because I figured he gets thousands of books like a month on a monthly basis that he submits, so he would have a better gauge. Like me, I'm only doing a few submissions, so I'm not the right guy to kind of get a sample size of their error, you know, error, error rate, I guess you could say. He
Right.
told me that he had maybe a handful of errors with CGC, but he said that as soon as he addressed them to CGC, they fixed the problem. They sent the what do you call it, the label to send back the books on their dime,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem was resolved. So for him, from his perspective, the few times that CGC did make a mistake, they corrected it.
They resolved it nice. Oh, that's good
So
then.
so it is kind of comforting to see the other side, because we've been hearing a lot. Because you know, it's almost like if you go to a Yelp review, you know, the joke is most of the time people that have a negative experience are the ones that you'll usually harp on it on a review site. You're not going to see too many positive reviews because maybe they didn't put forth the effort to put it. So that's why even like review sites sometimes are a bit skewed, because it's usually the negative people that'll be the ones that'll chirp the loudest. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, you know, CGC, like, it gets a bit more flack than maybe it deserves, I think.
Yeah. So this is an interesting question. RP's asking what we think about the signature verification fiasco and if that was ever addressed.
What
Right.
fiasco?
Yeah, is that in regards to I think CBCS? It sounds like, and I guess because I think there was at some point that they had some issues with their signature verification. Like they made some pretty big mistakes with that.
Like, you mean like they verified
Like
a
I think
signature
they
that wasn't the case?
verified some signatures that you know probably should not have been verified. Like they were fake signatures or something
But
like
wait,
that.
how
Oh
did that?
wow.
But I guess I'll have to do more digging. But
Through
how did that come after the fact? Because once it's verified, it's slapped. Did the person like crack it and then verify it again? How did that fiasco come about?
Well, if like for instance, I think this case may have been like someone sent knowingly sent a fake signature maybe
Oh,
to test the verification and it got
oh, right,
passed
right.
as a verified signature.
wow.
That
Yeah,
that that's
that's
that,
what
that,
it
that
sounded like.
that's a good field study. That's actually yeah,
So
that's
I
actually,
mean,
I'm surprised people haven't done that before, where they try
Smart
to,
move.
yeah. I mean,
it just depends, I guess. Like, I don't know. There would have to be a lot of. I think I would need more information on it to be honest, because like I know that there's some pretty good forgers out there. So how much effort was put into this, to be honest, because
well,
you know,
I would hope that the people that, like, look, and you know what, and I know CGC got flack for the for the very reason that they don't have a verification process, and it's for this reason that they cited that they didn't want to get into that whole arena to begin with, because they understood that all it takes is one signature to be incorrectly, you know, assessed as being authentic, and that kind of undermines the whole credibility of the verification process.
One wrong move, just like PGX.
Yeah.
right.
So as much as, you know, I would like it to have a verification process, errors can happen, and unfortunately, this error can be a very costly one. So
Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense because like the thing with signatures, like I don't imagine this is comparable to like like legal signature verification or anything like that, because I mean I feel like that would cost a lot more money.
Definitely.
yeah,
Like
you're right. You're right.
so yeah, they're probably like maybe they're holding up like a known copy of Stanley's signature next to the new copy, and they're like, yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
But
that's what I think,
I
honestly.
don't know.
but let's
um,
be real. I mean, Stanley's signature is very recognizable. You would think that I'm sure there's got to be like a handful of people that could probably forge that signature, I would assume.
you would think so. I mean, like there's probably some people out there that have done it in the past, and
Yeah. But exactly. So that's why, like, okay. So when you hear these kind of stories come out, you kind of have a bit of uneasiness when you're buying a signature verified book from CBCS, maybe. Whereas,
yeah,
CGC, a signature verified book, you know that a witness was there.
yeah,
So
that's a little different because those
Wow.
signings are done in person. So
yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, let me just read this. Someone
It's
got
unreal.
verified.
yeah, it's saying that someone sent in a fake Michael Jordan, um,
Like a fake
uh,
card though.
yeah, like,
I got
yep.
verified.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Just
yeah,
goes to show you though, it happens.
and like Dan's saying here in chat, books get wrong
Yep.
classifications and stuff like that. Um, as Bleecker said, signatures change over the years for
dude.
people. So it's
If
definitely
you if you
tough to
look at
classify a lot of these things.
my government documents, you would think 10 different people are signing my. And that's probably not. That's probably not a testament to to how great my signature is. The fact that even I can't even do my own signature properly, but um, it happens. He's right. I mean, sometimes there might be variance in your signatures. So
Hmm.
how do people account for that? You know?
Oh, for sure. Like if you like my signature, if you look at my signature back when like probably like around the time that I turned 18, it changed very drastically in actually just a matter of a few short years. Because I when I went into the military, I was doing a lot of signing paperwork at the beginning and everything like that, and I got tired. I used to sign my name pretty neatly, and just filling out so much of that paperwork at the beginning, I got tired of having to sign my name over and over. Yeah, it really just
Face,
became a scribble.
Yeah,
Fa-
exactly. Just
face. I gotta
done.
ask. You said that you went to the military. Did you opt for the night ops just because you know that you'll be much more concealed?
Of course, always with the camouflage.
That's awesome.
And
Uh,
like Tim Sinkovich is saying, Adam Hughes, yeah, he's got a signature that just it does really seem like it's very easy to sort of like copy. Greg Horn, when he does the initials, it doesn't seem like that would be too hard. And that's the thing, these guys, they're signing their names so many times
yeah,
at
at conventions and
Exactly.
all
convention
that. Yeah.
signings and everything like that. Yeah, it just it becomes a point where the simplest, quickest thing to do is best. You're
Some
not going
people.
to get that the infinity Creighton or
Oh,
Clayton Crane
Clayton
signature,
Crane, the
yeah, every
rainbow,
time.
yeah.
So,
dude. Some
which
people
is
don't
dope,
even.
actually.
Some people you can't even call it a signature. Like I think what's the artist David Finch. I think he literally just writes the word Finch because I have some of the prints that he signed for me during my Batman signing. I think he just literally put. I think he just puts B Finch. Like you can. I don't even think it's handwritten. I think it's just like it's not cursive. Sorry, it just says Finch in block letters.
Just print it
It's like
out.
yeah, like Tone Rodriguez, who is involved in the art on the Stray Dog series, just signs Tone. So
Like he spells out tone. You mean like he
yeah,
just
exactly.
yeah.
Tone. That's there you go.
Isn't the whole point of a signature it's not supposed to lend itself to being forged?
Well, yeah, but again, when you're signing thousands of signatures, rapid fire,
No,
Send
no,
them
no, no, no,
off.
no, no. What I mean is like I get that you might have variations in your own signature, but when you're just writing your name, like you just I don't know. I was like to be quite honest, when I saw the signature, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like see the thing is at least it was free. Like I got this free. But if I had to pay like some of these people, like you plop a $50 or $100 note,
Just for him printing his name. Yeah,
it's
it's
that's
well, Clayton Crane's the
no.
best because you can get like his normal everyday signature, which is probably like some scribble or
true.
something like that. But then you can get like his full sign name, the Clayton Crane or whatever.
I saw that.
And then on top of that, you know, if you want to pay another premium, that Infinity, the rainbow,
The rainbow.
like, yeah, my man's making
It's
some money on his
crazy.
signatures,
Is
But
he ever?
but
but
it's more
again,
time consuming. So
that rainbow
It's true.
obviously, that rainbow you would obviously only do it on select covers. I don't think that applies to you shouldn't be doing it to um what do you call it, just a random ass Clayton Clay. I think they normally do it with that Venom, the Venom Infinity Gauntlet one, right? uh
I think so.
but
Yeah.
yeah, there's only a
You know what you know what I just thought it would be a really interesting experiment though, for
What's
someone
that?
to time him, you know, when he signs his, you know, his normal everyday just rapid fire signature, and
Mhm.
time him versus when he does the Infinity, and do a cost analysis on see how much he's making per hour doing that Infinity signature versus his regular signature, because I bet it's huge.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? More so than a signature, I think when an artist does like a small, what do you call it? Not a commission, but like what's the word is slipping.
Remark.
Uh, Remark.
Remark?
Yes, that's the word I was thinking. Like when an artist usually does a remark, I think that's a lot more distinguishable than a signature because people's drawing styles
Differ every
it
time.
differ. And when you like, whereas a signature is a bit more easier to afford to. I feel a remark, you could kind of point to, oh, okay, this is the artist that drew like a Kevin Eastman remark. There's no mistaking that's a Kevin Eastman remark.
For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. And a quick shout out to Dan De La Torre, who's going to be appearing over on the Tony Sanders show
Nice.
uh, this Friday to defend his tag team titles with Boston Chris. So
Hmm.
definitely, if you got the chance to check them out and support our man Dan for sure.
Yeah, his first title defense. So best of luck this
Right?
Friday.
Hell yeah, it's definitely a fun show to watch for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there are so many people that, you know, they um whenever like you go to the conventions and everything, that'll do the remarks for fairly reasonable prices, especially if they're like early in your career.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
like
That's true.
Clayton Crane's prices definitely used to be a lot you know, a lot cheaper, but you know, it's before he really got the recognition and everything like now. So obviously there's going to be more of a premium for their time and everything, but yeah, the
hmm
and I definitely get that price differential when you get into the remarks and everything. But man, on some of them signatures, the price gaps are just huge.
I mean, look, when I went to Fan Expo, I got commissions done by because you guys know I'm a Street Fighter fan, so like the artists that do the Street Fighter comics were at the convention, and you
Yeah,
know, they're not as well known as some of the big, heavy hitters like your Finch, your Clayton Cranes. So I was able to get like nicely done commissions, like a half bust of a character for like $50. $50 for a commission, honestly, for
Wow.
on an 8x10,
nice.
really. You can't complain about that because you take that to like some of the more well-known artists, they'll probably charge you maybe close to like a couple of hundred for that same bust. um
That's awesome.
so it's almost like if my advice is, if you're at a con and you see certain artists, you never know if they're going to be the next big thing. Like if you like their work, give them a shot, ask them to do some work for you. You never know if they'll
Definitely. I mean, it's funny. I was actually I went to, I think it was, I want to say it was a Wizard World or something like that in LA in like 2004, maybe 2005, somewhere in there.
Nice.
And I actually had a sketchbook with me. You know, it had a pretty cool cover that I bought at the convention.
Mm,
And when I went to one of the booths, um, Michael Turner was at the
mm.
booth, and he actually just took my sketchbook and did like a full sketch and just gave
Wow.
it to me. Yeah, it was
Wait,
actually pretty awesome. So
hold on. He didn't charge you or anything?
no, didn't charge anything.
And,
That's sweet, man.
and you see how much people go crazy when there's a Michael Turner cover.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because
exactly.
I don't. Does he still do covers? I feel like I haven't really seen his art.
No, he definitely does not still do covers. He passed away, I think in 2008.
Oh shoot! That's true. You're right.
Yeah.
He did pass away. I don't know why I'm thinking that he's still among the living. I don't know. Oh my god.
You know why? Because you see it constantly see
I see him.
Aspen
Yeah.
covers coming out, and just like
No, because you know what? I recently saw one of his covers he did for a video game. I don't know if you guys know Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
yep.
He did a variant for that issue number 1 of Devil May Cry 1, and I recently saw that at the shop. So I guess his name was very fresh in my mind. Yeah, damn, I completely forgot he passed away.
Well, I mean, like I said, there is still a lot of Aspen stuff that comes out, and a lot of artwork, with his name on it. I'm not sure actually how that works.
Listen,
I just don't know if he's had he had that much stockpiled artwork that just keeps getting put out, or I don't know. I'll be honest, it's enough of a question mark for me that I honestly don't get too into buying much of the Aspen stuff that comes out with his name on it. If I had more information, I might get into it, but
yeah, one of his notable covers I remember was Dynamite partnered with Marvel and did that Spider-Man and Red Sonja. He did some nice looking covers there. So yeah, he also has his own distinct style. You can kind of tell a Michael Turner
for sure.
cover actually.
Yeah, Michael Turner was a great artist, and it's sucks that we lost him as early as we did, especially as early in his career as he was too.
Yeah, he couldn't have been that old. I assume.
No, he wasn't. And I mean, he was just really in the first few years of like he's getting really huge, I think, at the time. So, but that was a cool convention experience that I got to have.
Yeah, that's sweet, man, to have.
Yeah, I don't even I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about a minute ago that just brought that up.
We were talking about artist commissions. So
The remarks,
exactly.
yeah.
Remarks.
Yeah, so that it was really cool. But then on the other hand, whenever you go to the conventions and everything like that, now, even like little quick 30-second remark sketches of like Spider-Man or anything
it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah. It's definitely very different now.
Because the thing is, the market wasn't what it used to be. Because
Right.
I'd hear stories about people when they go to cons, there wasn't really much of a line forming for some of these artists. Nowadays, you'll see, like when you go to Fan Expo, and then you see like lineups for like Donny Cates or like someone like Tom King. Like they have lineups so long that they end up having to cut off people because they don't have time to service everyone. Because because even the guys that are signing, they're only there for blocks of time. They're not there for the entire duration of the convention because they got stuff to do, right? So they're only there for like a couple of hours. So then security basically sees how much people are in the line, and then just so that you're not yanking their chain, they basically say, "Okay, sorry guys, you guys won't be getting a signature."
Right, and usually what I do with conventions for stuff like that is I might pick like I'll pick one or two each day that are at like very different times to maybe try and hit, but other than that I'll just kind of rock around and enjoy the convention. But I kind of stay away from like a lot of the bigger signings and everything like that, other than like the one or two that I've targeted for that convention.
Well, the thing is, and you kind of have to gauge the environment. Like if I see an artist or a writer's table completely empty, that gives me license. Well, that gives me license also to being able to chat with him. Like I'm not going to start a conversation with Donny Cates when I see 50 people waiting behind me, and then I'm going to get like hit with a backing board in the back of my head or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's crazy what Tim's saying. Like I saw this comment, I'm like, how the hell did people? I mean, I guess maybe people weren't aware.
I feel like he was probably there in sweatpants and a flannel shirt, and like, oh, who's this guy? He was just another nerd.
But here's the thing, though. Even if you didn't follow wrestling, you can't. I would think that because he was in the Attitude Era, Mick Foley, Mankind, he was a recognizable face. I would figure that people could still pick him out of a crowd. I'm surprised that no one. His table is empty.
Hey guys, I'm step out for a quick second. I'm gonna get a refill, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sure.
Right,
Yeah, because like
Um,
I remember like the last was it the last yeah, actually the last convention I've been to ever since the whole COVID thing. I got a chance to speak with Ed Brisson. You know,
mhm.
um, some of you in the chat know Ed Brisson. He did the
I know the name.
He did the Ghost Rider run that got canceled after 10 issues recently. Um,
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, and he also actually did. He was in the Hickman. He did some Hickman X books. Which books did he do? He was doing New Mutants. He was doing New
Okay.
Mutants. He's done a lot of stuff with Marvel, and I think he even dabbled in. He actually, I think, has a series, an indie series, maybe a horror. Oh, you know what? He did. He wrote an issue for Silvercoin.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
one of the writers in Silvercoin. So yeah, I was able to speak with him. This was right around the time when remember that whole craze with Wolverine's daughter being like debuting in that Marvel comic presents.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
What was her name? Rain, something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So because he wrote that issue,
Okay.
no,
Yeah, she was a pretty cool character.
and so I was talking to him, and we got to chatting, and he starts talking about his plans for like what the plan is for the books and all that. So I was able to get a conversation with him because nobody was really visiting his line. So I
Right.
just took that as an opportunity. So it's,
And
it's kind of surprising. You would think that certain artists, especially with the amount of work that they're getting, you would think that some of these people would have a bigger line. You'd be
right.
shocked. You'd be shocked.
Yeah, I mean it seems like there's definitely a select few that kind of stand out that, you'll probably see
Like, look,
bigger lines at right
y-
now. But
you guys will both appreciate this. I was able to have a brief conversation with James Tinian. This is right around
oh
the
wow.
time, but this is when he just got off his Detective Comics run.
Okay.
Remember when
Okay.
DC did their whole rebirth?
Yeah.
And by the way, for those of you who have never read Detective Comics by James Tinian, I encourage you to read it, especially if you're not a DC fan, because he really does a good job of doing the whole relationship with Batman and the Bat family. So definitely, and it's not, and I think his run with Detective Comics was probably like 30 issues, or it's not a like he was there maybe for a year or two, but definitely check out Tinian's run on Detective Comics. Yeah,
Yeah. Then you had a great run on Detective.
when I got to his table, he just started doing Dark Avengers, not Dark Avengers, sorry, Justice League Dark. Um, when he did the team up with Detective Chimp, Wonder Woman,
Right.
Swamp Thing. So I brought him an issue to sign, and he was like, you would have thought that I almost like he was super appreciative. Like he was like, oh, thank you for taking like for checking this out. Like he treated it like this is his baby. It's like he
Well, I mean
clearly
that's
had
pretty cool though,
That's
because like
awesome though.
yeah,
yeah.
like he
So
was doing most of his work on Detective at the time, and that was the one that's getting big. Then it'd probably be awesome, to see somebody bring in like the smaller title that they're doing work on.
but
You know,
look at him now. Like I'm
I
pretty
know, right?
sure I'm pretty sure getting a line with James Tinian right now is going to be a lot harder now than it was a few years back
For sure.
Absolutely.
with
But
everything that's
I'm glad you bring him up because since we're just kind of like winging it tonight and doing just the general BS session, it does bring up a good question in regards to he is among several writers who have announced recently that I guess they're doing a lot more work on
Substack.
the Substack and everything like that. So do you guys know anything about that or?
Okay, so you guys might have to fill me in. I have a brief. I'm not going to start pretending like I know a lot of I'll tell you what I do know. It's very brief. Something about you get charged a subscription for these monthly newsletters apparently.
Hmm.
That gives you an idea of what these creators have in mind in terms of what's coming down the pipe. Am I wrong?
Um, So, for the most part, yeah, it sounds like no. That's pretty much the general premise. Now, I believe that that some of these writers and I don't know if there's artists doing this or not, but I believe that some of them are using it as a tool. Also, uh, like for instance, if you're subscribed to James Tynion's Substack or whatever, I believe I can't remember, but I think in the initial um, emails that had went out about it, like there's some kind of perks to it, like you can get some kind of exclusives or something like
Okay.
that. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Wait, when you say
So,
exclusives, you mean like?
it's all seems to be like it's all pretty new and emerging, so I'm not really sure how it works yet.
But okay, so here's my question: are they tied to a publisher, or are they just going to self-publish these things that they're, putting out in the newsletter?
Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about. I think I'm not sure. I think it varies, to be honest, because like I think Scott Snyder, he's doing the best jacket pressed or whatever. Um, but I think that a lot of his books that he's going to be doing through that Substack are actually coming out through Dark Horse Comics at some point.
Man, when Scott Snyder left DC, that depressed me for a unique reason because I kind of bought into King Robin. So I had two of those T-Rex variants that, weren't exactly cheap. I have that cover appearance. I have a couple of copies of Legends of the Dark Knight, his first appearance. And the thing is, like Scott Snyder essentially is the one that is basically the architect of the whole, the death metal universe in DC. So once he left, I'm like, oh shit, all right, there goes my spec for King Robin, because I don't think it doesn't seem like.
I mean, and I get what you're saying, but you know, they're interesting enough characters that there's some potential there that they might get some play in the future
A
from
lot
a
well,
different
here's the
writer.
thing. A lot of people felt that those characters almost dead in the water after death metal. My only saving grace was it's Scott Snyder. He's probably gonna resurrect another metal event in a few years. You know,
Yeah, I mean
uh,
that's the thing. Like either there's potential that Scott Snyder will come back and use them, or that somebody else will resurrect those characters. I mean, like the Batman Who Laughs was a really interesting concept. Did tend to get a lot of use very quickly,
mhm.
but the character himself was a fun concept. Well, I don't know if fun's the right word, but an interesting concept. A good look for the character, and Robin King kind of follows suit. So I feel like if they do bring back Batman Who Laughs at some point, which just that kind of villain, you
Fingers
got to
crossed.
assume that in the future they're probably going to bring back Robin King with them.
Because he had a pretty twisted origin. If you guys have read
Right.
that, if you
Yeah,
read
for sure.
the one shot with King Robin, that's a pretty. Was it King Robin that they drew this origin? No, I think it was.
I
Sorry,
think.
no, it was Legends of the Dark Knight, right?
Oh yeah, it might have been.
Yeah,
I don't remember actually anymore.
I didn't read that whole run there, unfortunately. I was just getting into everything, and I kind of stayed away from DC for the first little bit.
I would recommend that like don't read death metal. I would read what was the one that came before it?
Metal.
Yeah, metal, Dark Knight's metal. I would recommend you read that first before, and even with metal, you don't really need to read the tie-ins. I only read the 6-issue run of metal.
There were so many, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to read the
Oh,
tie-ins.
oh,
The tie-ins
oh,
do add something
well,
in
sorry.
a lot of cases, but
Yeah, there is two tie-ins that actually are important. I think it's called
yeah.
the casting, and then there was another one which I am
The Forge,
drawing
I think.
the forge. Yes, the forge and the
Yeah.
casting, with the 6 issues of metal.
Yeah, they
Dark Knight.
definitely add a lot to the backstory.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of
And,
course it leads right into, death metal. So
and yeah, and like Bleecker said, Teen Titans 12, which is the introduction of
The
the
lead
Joker.
in.
Well, no, it's an introduction to the Joker Who Laughs.
Oh, okay,
Batman
okay.
always laughs. The Joker
Batman.
always laughs.
Yeah,
Batman.
the Joker
Yeah,
laughs.
Batman too.
It's almost
Yes.
like we got our own newbie all of a sudden. Are we hashtagging hyperverse now?
Listen. You could hashtag Hyperverse so far. What? There's only one character floating around. We just created.
Newbie
True,
gonna hit you for
true.
copyright infringement.
I think I have a lot of grounds to catch up to get to newbies level in terms of characters
Yeah,
that
you've got a ways. His squad is definitely eviscerating yours.
yeah,
He's got a newbie verse. You got one character.
like
Yeah, exactly.
like my Joker who laughs is not going to be able to go up against Yolanda Belova, Conan the Librarian,
Death Vader.
Death Vader,
Tony Maguire.
Yeah, Tony
Like,
McGuire. Oh, that was fantastic.
some of these characters people forget, but I like to remind them here and then. So they're
and
in
they're
our
all gonna
memory.
fight. They're all gonna fight on the nice house on the hill.
Yeah,
It's gonna
right.
be like it's gonna be like the newbie verse of madness.
Newbie versus deathmatch. That'll be even better.
It'd be good.
So
Very good.
okay,
It might be a future concept. We might have to run with that.
keys. I mean, I said keys by accident. Face.
Oh my god, this guy's all over the fucking place.
I'm sorry.
How much have you had to drink?
I don't though. That's the thing. So I don't even have a crutch.
Well, okay, how much have you had to smoke?
Again, I don't. I think the only crutch I can lean on is I'm tired. Maybe I don't know. But even then, I had a good night's sleep, so I can't even use that. So
Damn, that's all bad.
and plus it's Labor Day. It's not like I worked today. So
Right.
no, I was thinking. Should we just kind of briefly just go through each of us some of our books that we're kind of looking forward to for this week's new comic book day?
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, the only problem is with he's not being here. He's been doing the tech guru stuff. So
No. I mean, the thing is,
do
do you guys have any in your mind right now, or because I could?
I gotta actually grab my list and see what all's coming out again.
Yeah,
I mean-
I'd have to go through here.
Let's see what.
Because
We're all
the thing
pulling
is-
up our lists here.
I know, right?
I could rattle off some right now, like while you guys are
Yeah,
thinking
give
of it.
her, man, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hit with yours.
I mean, right off the bat, you have Nice House on the Lake, not the Hill, issue number 4. I'm pulling that whole thing, and we were talking about horror comics. There's one right there, and it's done by James Tynion. We were just speaking about.
Yep.
Yeah. So that now here's an interesting one. I wasn't gonna pick this up, but Shang-Chi number 4. I don't. Have you heard about this face where they're saying that it's going to be introducing Shang-Chi's mother? Like it's
It wouldn't surprise me with the timing as far as with the movie just coming out and everything like that. So yeah, that's definitely not a surprise at all.
like, do you see that being one of those books that ends up selling out because for that? It's you know how it is with people with relatives attached to like a main character.
It could. I mean, it just depends. Like I'll be honest. If she comes in with powers, then there's a good chance that people are definitely going to be looking for it.
Wait, hold on. In the comics, does she actually? Because the thing is, first of all, was she ever mentioned at all in the comics, or is it just Shang-Chi's father?
I'm actually not sure. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of, haven't been historically a huge fan of Shang-Chi. So yeah, I just don't know much about him. I'm kind of just starting to dig into Shang-Chi now and the backstory, but haven't really got there yet.
Okay.
I think
Well,
a lot of people are, honestly, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It was the same kind of thing that happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously there's a lot of people out there that have been historically, huge fans of Shang-Chi,
Mhm.
uh, that are like, where were you guys for the past 20 years or whatever? But that's just the way
Well,
it is.
well,
Like I've always been a huge fan of Guardians, and to be honest, when the Guardians first came out, I was like, the fuck is this? This is no lineup of the Guardians of the Galaxy I've ever seen. Like,
that,
you know what I mean? Like, so it was kind of
yeah. Well, I think the only recognizable character from that first comic was Yondu, right? And it's not even
pretty
the
much,
real.
yeah. Well, like, I mean, the characters were like, they had used the characters and everything like that before, but just not so much on the team and everything. Like Star Lord existed, obviously. Drax, Gamora, Rocket, all of them existed. They weren't that iteration of the Guardians
Mm,
or any iteration of the Guardians really at that point. So,
yeah.
but I digress. Anyway,
But this was why, like, sometimes, like, like people are very fixated on, like, because we're talking about groups.
Mhm.
There's been talks about like the Illuminati coming to the MCU, right?
Yeah,
And the thing is, like, people are wondering like who from the current, like, because in the Illuminati, the comics, you had what, like, you had Spider Woman, you had Sentry, what was it, Reed Richards, Black Panther was in the Illuminati, right?
um,
I'm not sure.
man, like I'm trying to remember. The original iterations, like I feel like it was like Professor
Iron
X, Doctor Strange, Namor,
Tony
Black Panther, Black Bolt,
Tony
and
Stark, right? Wasn't it Tony Stark?
yeah, I think Tony Stark
Yeah.
was
So, but
the
the thing
last
is,
one.
my take is like, if the Illuminati comes, don't expect the original roster. Just like with the Guardians, I'm sure there's going to be a shakeup. And yeah, Reynolds Comics
Right.
is saying that Black Panther was part of the Illuminati. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that they had one guy from Wakanda, which it was T'Challa that was part of the Illuminati.
Well,
Because
yeah, and he
they
was more like he was sort of like the dissenting opinion.
okay, so it's almost like the opposing. Uh,
Right, right. He
okay,
was on the Illuminati, but he was like, yeah, no, you guys are kind of doing some douchebag stuff, so I'm gonna peace out from this
okay.
shit. So, like, but
So he wasn't part of the crew that shot Hulk into another orbit and created Planet Hulk.
like I said, they originally I think they tried to recruit him in, but I think he kind of told him no at like the earliest meeting.
Okay.
They kind of thought it was a bad idea or something like that. So I don't think he was with them for very long. I'm not sure how long exactly, but yeah.
Okay. Um. So just continuing with new comic book day. The other issue is Kanto #3, Volume
Yeah.
3. I'll be picking up that, and as well as this what is it, the 1 in 10 ratio. You can't really see
Okay.
it with the ring light. It's kind of hard to tell, but
1 second, let me pull you up here. There we go.
yeah. So that's the 1 in 10 for Kanto #3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
I've been picking up all of those 1 in 10s that I can.
mhm.
So
So yeah, because I mean, we know that Kanto's coming to the big screen, and I'm just pulling Kanto just because I like the story.
hmm
Um,
enough that you. Go ahead.
no, I
I'll
was
let
gonna
you
say,
recover.
I'm not picking this up, but I have a feeling Face or maybe even Comic Dude might be picking this up. Avengers Tech On.
Um,
The cover, the cover looks nice. If I was gonna pick it up, it'd probably just be for the cover. Not so much the story. I don't think. I think I'm gonna pass on it, honestly.
yeah, I'm undecided. That one I'll actually decide on when I get to the store and I look at it and be like, yeah, I want to grab this. Or, no, I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm not picking it up just because I feel like this whole series is just an excuse for just a new toy line coming to Marvel.
Yeah, it does feel like that's what's coming.
It doesn't really feel like.
Didn't they just do the mech strike shit that felt like it was almost the exact same thing? I think that's my issue with this series right now.
I think this is almost supposed to be like a successor to that Mech Strike
It's a
book.
continuation.
I believe so.
I think so.
Oh, okay. See, that I didn't know. So, interesting. You learn something new every day. and that's
One
why we
book.
do this.
We were talking about Conan the Librarian.
There we go. There we go. That's not the one I wanted you to mention, but okay, go ahead.
But Conan the Barbarian has an issue 25
The Garson.
oversized. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
Garrison, and apparently there's an homage to AF-15. I think that's a ratio cover though, because I don't see it on preview, so I'm assuming that
Actually, I think that might have been an exclusive. I'm not 100%, but
the
it
AF-15.
may have been an exclusive on that one. I know the Garson is
That's an open order.
Open order, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a fan of the Mr. Garson covers. And I actually just I think I shared with you guys in our chat that he posted a picture of the Hulk that he's
The
done,
Hulk.
and the date that he had seems to be the release date for Immortal Hulk 50. So it looks like that's probably going to be the collage cover for that, obviously.
Nice.
I mean, I did like his stuff on the the Venom 200 that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 700. He's done several of them now. He did a Thor one that I've got somewhere. Yeah, definitely picking up the Conan to add to the collection.
And wait, hold on. Face, I'm actually seeing the AF-15 homage is actually not an store exclusive. It's on previews, but I think it's a ratio because it's an Acuna, but I feel like it could be so that's the AF-15 ratio cover. I'm gonna try to find out if it's a ratio or not, but
Okay.
Yeah.
shoot, I can't. Hold on.
I think if they're watching us, they probably have an idea what AF-15 looks like.
No, but I just wanted to show how that color looks
know.
like. But let me see if I can find out if it's a ratio or not.
So that's kind of cool.
But in terms of anything else new comic book there, let's see. Daredevil.
Is TMNT 121 coming out this week?
No. Oh
No?
wait. A new miniseries, Death of Doctor Strange.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quote in quotation marks, death. I mean, what is?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. So
for how long?
We're doing the trial of Magneto, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over the death of Scarlet Witch. And in the solicitation for Darkhold Alpha #1, she forms an alliance with like Doctor Doom or something like that. So that death seems like it's going to be real fucking lasting.
So basically, yeah, exactly.
She's going to be back by next.
Just
issue,
a matter
probably.
of time.
I just get a feeling like she's going to be back real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm skipping this whole Death of Doctor Strange event just because I don't buy it. I mean, obviously, I think any veteran comic collector knows at this point, it's not. I would call it more of not so much a death, but more of like, we're just gonna suspend your
disappearance.
Yeah, we're just gonna write you off of the storylines for a bit, and then when you're good. But it's going to be. Yeah. But here's the thing, though, because I know that there's going to be a Strange Academy tie-in with Death of Doctor Strange. So clearly, they're removing him from Strange Academy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
didn't that X Factor 10, didn't that shit blow up because of the death of Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, but it's come down. It's come down.
Oh yeah, I feel like that. Just throwing out a solicitation for like Darkhold Alpha that pretty much announces that the death is not lasting long at all. It's got a fucking torpedo value on any death,
and which is why I mean the whole Krakoa rebirth system. Like, for those of you that follow the Hickman X-Men, they have this mechanism in place in Krakoa where if you die, you basically your vessel gets brought to the regeneration station, and then you get brought back to life.
Yeah.
So it almost negates the whole consequence of death, I find. I mean, the only way that I guess you can't get resurrected is if they can't find your body And
So
well,
actually, what it feels like is it feels rather than a death, it feels more of like a sort of retcon.
mhm.
It almost feels like there's sort of I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna go about it or anything, but it feels like they want to take Scarlet Witch back to the days where she was a mutant rather than an
I think
inhuman per se.
so. I think that was a theory that's been thrown around that
Hmm.
they're doing all this to kind of go back to her roots, and it's almost like to retcon the whole no more mutants thing and kind of bring her back to being a mutant kind of thing.
The problem with it is though that the way that they've set everything up. If you've been following the run for X-Men, them bringing her back and everything does not it in no way makes her a mutant at all because uh the five on Krakoa actually can bring back anyone. They could bring back any normal human. The problem with bringing back normal
Portals.
humans
They
is
they
that
can't go through the portals.
Cerebro, huh?
But the thing is, if you're not a mutant, you can't you not go through those portals? Because wasn't there? Isn't that one of the issues with non mutants that they
Well,
can't?
Go
true,
through,
but
yeah.
the thing is, okay, so like if a human died in New York, they
Mm,
could bring that human back on Krakoa, for instance, and fucking take them off the island on a boat or something. But
okay.
the problem is, in regards to bringing human back, is apparently, at least in the lore of the comics, is that it lies with Cerebro. Cerebro keeps a copy of mutants, mental data patterns or whatever, but not normal humans. So I guess the thing is, Cerebro has kept this data pattern for uh, Scarlet Witch for as long as they thought that she was a mutant, and then until it was revealed, I guess, that she wasn't,
Oh,
and
okay, I
then I guess
see.
they stopped keeping the data pattern. So now, if they resurrect her,
It's almost like
uh,
a whole new makeup.
yeah,
A
except it doesn't
backup.
actually make her a mutant if she's not a fucking mutant. So
Well,
like, it's kind of weird.
it's
Now
essentially
that
it's
being said, when the five resurrects people in the comics, like with Quentin Quire, they've done some modifications to him and everything genetically and stuff like that. So maybe there's potential there. Who knows?
I mean,
That would be cool.
I'm skipping the whole death of trial of Magneto. So I said death of Magneto.
You're
Uh,
tripping today, Hyper.
I'm killing everyone off in the MCU. Um, um, the uh, the trial of Magneto, or as sometimes newbie calls it, the trail of Magneto. Like we're going hiking with Magneto.
Trail
Right?
Um,
mix.
Why not?
but
Seems like he'd be a good hiking partner.
I'm not pulling that miniseries. I'm just gonna. I feel like everything I will need to know is gonna be in the final issue of that run, in that miniseries. I feel like whatever revelation I need to know, I'll probably can get it in the fifth issue. You know, and
Yeah, I
everything
mean
else is just gonna lead.
there's a pretty good chance that you're not wrong.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see whether. I mean, the thing is, what bums me out is the fact that you guys have heard that Hickman has left. Uh, like his plans for the whole X-Men stuff ended abruptly. Because
Um,
he apparently had a vision of like a 2-3 year plan,
Oh, really? Eh?
and,
No, I
and
didn't
he,
hear that.
he barely scratched the first year, I think. Um,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like I like Hickman's writing and everything like that, but I'm not hugely surprised to see them maybe changing course with the X-Men.
yeah, but
Does
okay.
it does make me wonder if maybe not everybody's jumping on X-Men like they used to. So
Well, okay. So here's my thing. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm a complete fan of Hickman. I do find that sometimes he's a bit too wordy for his own good. Sometimes, like like, dude, sometimes there's a lot of text.
He's a longer build, I find.
uh
It's a
Yeah,
slow build.
yeah. I know that.
and very intertwined.
Hmm.
I know in comics lately we complain about how books become a very too much of a brisk read. Hickman's the opposite. I find that he dumps a lot. It's a lot of info data. The thing is, I'm bummed because like I invested time and money pulling some of these X titles with the hopes that Hickman had like this overarching plan because
Mhm.
you know from the way they were building, do you guys remember those promos that Hickman is coming? They never actually mentioned what he was going
Yeah.
to do, and they made a big deal, and then you find out that he's doing the X-Men. So I had high hopes that there was like a long-term plan with the X-Men because for the longest time X-Men was kind of on a bit of like a rut. So the
Mhm.
fact that he's prematurely off the X titles, it makes me like I started dropping my X titles because I'm like, what's the point of pulling these pieces? Because it feels like now we're going to be a bit directionless.
Yeah.
And you know what I think it was for a lot of people is that I think a lot of people might have jumped off initially during like the X of Swords event because it was
I enjoyed the X Swords event.
well, and the thing was I did too. It was different. It was interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, some of the stuff obviously I think was played, I guess maybe a bit more in like a joking manner than for seriousness or whatever. But it was fun. It was an interesting crossover, and it did some different things. So I
Hmm.
didn't hate it. I liked it. And then not long after that, we got the Hellfire Gala that a lot of people were like, okay, this is a fucking X-Men fashion show. So like, yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
I kind of skipped. I only pulled the titles that I was already pulling, but I wasn't specifically pulling everything just for the yeah.
right.
Because you're right. It seems like everything you need to know about the Hellfire Gala happened in X Factor 10.
And that's the other thing because like Bleecker said, there's too many titles to even start, and it feels like they do have a huge assortment. And now they've always had a huge assortment of X titles, but
Well, dude,
because they're so heavily intertwined and everything like that, it's hard to keep up with so many titles.
did you hear about what they're going to be doing with Wolverine? So Wolverine is one of my favorite. Like I would say, it's my top three Marvel characters.
Hmm.
Apparently, there's plans of doing a series. Like how Power Rangers has Mighty Morphin, and then you have Power Rangers that go side by side.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be doing the deaths of Wolverine and the life of Wolverine, the lives of Wolverine, and it's gonna be
Right.
two series that's supposed to
I saw that. Yeah.
be going simultaneously. So
Yeah,
wait,
and it
so
almost looks to me like that's more of like a mini series event for Wolverine and the
but
Wolverine
hold on,
family, I think.
does that mean that the regular Wolverine series will be put on pause, or are we gonna get three Wolverine series?
Um, that I'm not sure about.
Because Daredevil, the Chip Zdarsky run, that's actually we thought that it's going to end on issue 36 as the final issue, but apparently there's a mini series that's coming out after issue 36. I
Yeah,
don't know if
it,
you
it,
guys
it sounds like Chip Zdarsky is not quite done with Daredevil at
no
this point. So
like the series is going to stop at issue 36. Then they're going to do like a 5 or 6 issue mini series with the same team, Chip Zdarsky and Marco Checchetto, and apparently they're going to resume Daredevil once that series is done.
Oh wow.
So
I mean, I could kind of see it. It doesn't really surprise me. They sort of set up for it with Daredevil, being in prison and Elektra sort of taking up that role. There's got to be something that happens that's kind of gonna reconcile all of that.
reconcile.
Yeah, decide who's gonna be, I guess, Daredevil going forward, which you would think
I
is
can
probably gonna be Matt. But
I can't I can't imagine. But I will say I think she proved a lot of people wrong. I think a lot of people thought that the whole Electro Daredevil thing was only going to last for like 2 3 issues at
Yep.
max, and then that's it. But it's I don't
yeah,
know if
well, I mean, it's always kind of been one of those things where you think that you figure that Matt's probably going to return to the role at some point because I mean,
but did you
Elektra's
really
her own
think?
character and she stands on her own, so it just makes sense that they would kind of return them to their original roles. But
But did you think that she would last this long as in the Daredevil role as she has currently?
um,
No.
well, okay, so I will say no, but I'll also qualify that with the fact that I don't think it was necessarily the potential of the take on the character, with her taking up that role or anything. It was more the fact that I didn't really foresee a whole lot of compelling ways to tell a story about Matt being in prison again,
Yeah.
But,
No,
so far they've done pretty well. I won't lie. I do definitely like reading the parts with Elektra in the role of Daredevil more than Matt
Matt
in
in
prison
prison.
at this point. But
You can only stretch that story for so long. I get it.
right, and that feels like what we're coming up on the end of. So
Yeah.
it's a good take. I think it'll change up some status quo a little bit between Matt and Elektra. Probably have to do with the hand and all that shit. Obviously, Kingpin is going to play a role in all this. Bullseye seems to be
Yeah.
pretty
Mhm.
centered. Typhoid Mary they brought back in a pretty significant role. So all the main players are set up.
Wait. Oh,
for
hold on.
pretty
Typhoid
big
Mary.
event.
Was she the character that was in Iron Fist?
Yes, I believe so. If I remember right.
That was the character right in season 2 of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, just I don't know, like, man. So just kind of one of those things. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they do. They've set it up now where like Wilson Fisk's son is sort of making a rise, in the criminal underworld as like maybe like a new kingpin figure. So
Okay.
maybe watch out for that. Could be a replacement for that coming down the road.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, again, I don't necessarily know that would be lasting if they do take out Wilson, but
No, he's kind of integral. I find not just with Daredevil, with several characters like Planet
like,
Claw.
you just can't really
Agreed.
take him out for very long. So.
No.
But maybe his son steps up and takes that role temporarily.
Exactly.
Kind of,
Make for a
sounds
cool
like
storyline.
yeah. So who knows? I'm definitely going to pick up the Daredevil event. I've been loving the whole run so far, so
Yeah.
That's a big one for me.
I'm going to be.
Wait,
Oh, sorry,
go
you were
ahead.
saying?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I'm going to be picking up that Mighty Morphin 11, the FOC reveal
Yeah.
variant there.
Yeah, I know.
That one looks
BC was
cool.
talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
I
grabbing those FOCs too, to be honest. They've been pretty dope.
dropped the Power Rangers run, so ever since the Momoko cover stuff,
Yeah.
so I kind of dropped that. But yeah, I know that you're a Power Rangers fan, so I know that you'd be picking that up.
Yeah, I can't say the same for dropping the series, unfortunately.
No, I mean,
A few more.
no,
That's
for
all right.
me,
I'm on it with you, bro.
Good.
for me, it just came down to a decision where I kind of had to look at my pull list and I had to figure out, okay, which titles will I not miss dropping?
Yeah.
It's not so much that I hated the book or anything. It's just that I had to start prioritizing because I just couldn't pull everything.
No, I hear you, man. I had to do the same thing as well. So
Yeah,
just not with Power Rangers.
no doubt. I mean, for me, yeah, like obviously I have pretty much all the books that you guys have picked. A couple other ones that I would mention. So I guess TMNT 121, did that get pushed back or was?
No, it wasn't supposed to be TMNT 120. It was supposed to be Last Ronin that was supposed to come out this week, and that got pushed.
That's right, the design book or something
Well,
like that.
no, Last Ronin number 4 was supposed to come out this week, but it got pushed to the 22nd.
Okay, so
Yeah.
actually, I think they were doing it like it's sort of like a director's cut book. I think too.
I saw that.
Book. I think that was supposed to come out at some point soon too.
I saw that, but I don't think that's coming out. Yeah, I don't think that's supposed to be coming out.
I
this
just
week.
feel like there was a TMNT book that was coming out this week, but I can't remember.
Trust me,
There usually
obviously
is.
Hyper would be the authority. So
if there was a TMNT book, trust me, I would definitely.
yeah,
be on top of
exactly.
that.
So yeah, I feel confident I'm not missing on that one.
No, but actually, there's a book I'm surprised that you didn't actually bring up because this is your character. Defenders number 2.
Well, shit, man, I wasn't done yet. Goddamn.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You just stole my thunder, man. Shit, I said I was right about to go into Defenders.
Okay. So,
Ouch.
okay. Proceed.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
because Galactus's mom has got it going on. So yeah, I mean, gotta find out more about Galactus's mom obviously, because I'm a huge Galactus fan, so I'm definitely into the backstory and everything, and seeing what happens in the series. Al Ewing's writing it. Gonna be a fun read for me personally. So yeah, another book that unless you want to go ahead and just steal that thunder too, Hyper. Do you know which one I'm
No,
looking
no,
at?
no. I'm actually curious. Let's hear it.
No, so this one's a little different.
I have a
It's not
feeling.
really as far as like spec value or anything. What? Go ahead.
I'm gonna take a guess.
Okay.
Can I take a guess? Is it Kazar?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
It's not even a Marvel or DC. This is actually an indie book, and so the reason that I'm bringing it up because I'd actually was on the first issue of it when it came out because there was two different
Oh,
covers for the
is
first
it?
issue.
Okay, now I know. Now I know.
And
Eh,
yeah, so the one actually kind of homaged a classic painting.
okay, now I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was what's it called, the Farmer's Wife or something like that.
No, I don't.
So yeah, the first issue
Oh.
was Not All Robots #1. The second issue is coming out this week. The first issue is just a really good issue from AWA.
I thought. Okay, so see, I thought the issue that you were gonna bring up is that the one by Scotty Young, the you, me, everybody.
Oh,
Oh,
the Me You Love in the Dark or whatever.
yeah. Sorry.
You, me, and Debris.
Nope, not that one. This is Not All Robots. It's the second issue's coming out. I think there's only one cover for it this week. It's a mostly yellow cover, but
Okay.
it was a really good read. So if you haven't checked it out, maybe give that series a chance. I love the way the first issue ended.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Well, guys, I mean, that's our show for this week. We thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us as we just kind of had a general bullshit session.
It was but you know what? It was like an off the cuff conversation.
Right. I mean, there was just some people got sick and some technical glitches this week, and that kind of thing happened. So this week we had to push plans back a little bit and wing it, and that's cool. It was awesome having everybody join
And
us. That was definitely great for contributing to the conversation. So
exactly. And Face, we have to give a shout out to Comic Dude for coming in the clutch and for coming in
Hell
on
yeah,
short notice.
definitely.
So
Definitely.
thank you.
Hey, no worries.
And we've got more brackets coming up down the road that Comic Dude's going to be joining us for. I'm going to try and drag him back in for when we actually do the horror show the next time. Because I got him here on the premise that we were going to be doing the horror show, so
I'll be back.
Drag him back in for that hopefully. So
Definitely.
Hey, Face swindled you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely want to give a shout out to some of the guys in chat. Dan De La Torre for one, Comic Ozzy, and someone that's not in chat right now. Got Slab 081 on IG. All three of those guys have given some generous donations to the channel for subscriber giveaways that we're going to be doing at 250 and 500 subscribers. So be on the lookout for those videos. On how to get in on those giveaways. We've all, obviously I'm gonna, add some prizes myself, and a few of the guys here are obviously gonna throw in some prizes. So it's gonna be a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, catch us back here next week on Previously On. Hopefully our co-host will be recovered and healed up. And next week we are being joined by Dan De La Torre and Moonlit Comics.
I'm super.
What's that?
So the thing is, it's always a pleasure to share the screen with Dan De La Torre. I think I've done it once. But I'm like, no knock on Dan. I'm looking forward to Moonlit Comics because we always go back and forth on IG, and I've seen her on other streams, but I've never actually shared the screen with Moonlit Comics. So definitely looking forward to both of them. Obviously, both of them coming on, but the fact that it'll be the first time you'll see, it's almost like in comics, like now like the first meetup is considered like a key appearance kind of thing.
It's true.
Right.
So looking forward to that episode next week.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yes. So like I was saying, we got Dan De La Torre and Moonlit Comics joining us next week for a great show. So hope to see you all there. And as always, you can catch us also over on Newbie's channel. I'll be back on Sunday and Tuesday next week. Hyper, I'm not sure what you'll be
I
on over there.
should be on. I should be
Okay.
on.
It should be.
And I feel like it's only a matter of time. We're probably going to drag Comic Dude on over there at some point too. So,
Hey, just let me know.
hell yeah.
He's gonna tell you the horror guy's coming to Newbies, and then you're gonna
Yeah, right. Well, we gotta drag him in somehow.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, guys, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you back here next week, hopefully.
All right, guys.
Take
Good
care,
night.
everybody.